everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from stormy Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, you don't
Here's the thing.
have to have a... It's not that we have a gun problem
No.
in this country, Dan.
Look, a bunch of people have... The United States has more mass shootings than any other country in the world. We're number one. We're number one.
We're number one.
But the solution to this is well known.
Uh-huh.
Lots of people been saying it.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we're the Wild West in this country. Can I say something real quick?
What's that?
We're working towards something. We have a goal on this show.
Do we now?
I'm just trying to get right in front. I just want to remind folks we are trying to become a listener supported show.
Yeah,
only. We're trying to get rid of the ads. We don't want to do it anymore. And you can be supportive of that process. All you have to do when I'm finished with this sentence, you pause the show. You go to thankgodimatheist.com. You click on the Patreon link on the right-hand side of the page, and then you just sign up for as little or as much as you want, and you're part of it. It's not a matter of like we're not going for a number, a monetary figure.
Right.
We're going for a number of people.
Right.
Because we just want to have. We're trying to encourage listener support.
Yeah, and we are within striking distance of the next goal.
Yeah.
We just need a handful of people to show up to Patreon and sign up. And once we hit this next goal, half the shows will be ad free.
Yeah, how about that?
How sound is that good? Or how good does that sound? And also, as soon as you sign up on Patreon, you have access immediately to an ad-free version of the show.
So
every single
you
week.
get an ad-free version for you,
right?
Guaranteed, and you help others get fewer ads.
Yeah.
So
I think it's awesome.
It all goes well.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, Dan.
Yes.
Oh boy, I'm gonna skip that one. Oh boy, I'm gonna skip that one too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, Dan.
What?
I picked some real losers.
You got some rough ones.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the first one I want to talk about today is about a pastor by the name of Reverend Reginald Williams.
Ooh.
He is from New York.
Okay.
He is accused of funneling more than $631,000 away from his charities into lavish meals and trips to the Caribbean.
Well, how else is he going to pay for it?
$631,000 since 2010.
Wow.
They're not saying that he took this money for his living expenses. They say that he ran up at least about $170,000 in restaurant and bar tabs in New York City alone.
Yeah, but it's New York. You can do that. That's
just like a few meals out.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
I mean, that's pretty easy to do, especially for
you're
a man of God.
You're not going to do it at McDonald's, but man
of God, he needs to eat well.
He's probably hitting up Guy Fieri's restaurant there in Times Square. That's a fancy.
Bam! Isn't that the
joint.
Bam guy?
No, that's Emerald. Let me tell you something.
Fieri?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God.
The gross one?
The diners, drive-ins, and dives guy. Yeah,
no.
he had a restaurant open in Times Square.
No.
Everybody, but mostly you, Frank, do yourself a favor if you haven't seen it already and look up the New York Times review of Guy Fieri's restaurant. It's the most delightful thing you'll read in a year.
Do they hate it?
Yeah, I think it's written in the form of a letter to Guy Fieri himself. It's quite amazing.
Well, nonetheless, the charities.
So this was coming out of money was coming out of charities. It wasn't coming out of his church fund.
No. These were nonprofit, taxpayer-funded organizations that he ran.
As all charities are.
Taxpayer-funded.
Well, I mean,
they were
nonprofit being a being tax free is the taxpayers subsidizing you, but
right. But these, okay, but
they're also getting.
Let me get to what they were doing, and you'll see why they were getting literally taxpayer money.
Okay,
because they were providing housing and social services to the homeless, those living with HIV/AIDS, and substance abusers and veterans. Right, like they were going for the groups that the government shells out to oftentimes religiously associated organizations to go out and do some good in the world.
Well, because Frank, the faith-based groups are the ones you can trust.
Absolutely.
It's these other ones that you can't trust. He was literally taking food out of the mouths of AIDS patients and putting it into his big fat face.
Oh, yeah. His attorney says that he raised more than $14 million for these foundations. You know, every dime received, he was entitled to.
Oh, my God.
The board made the decision to pay my client, to pay him for the years in which he got no salary. Well, the board was him and like a couple of his cronies.
Yeah. And they made that decision over a beautiful plate of beef bourguignon.
Oh, maybe
with a really nice octopus appetizer. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good.
So,
how
do you even deny yourself that?
No, of course not. He deserves it. He's doing the Lord's work, and it's time that the Lord pays him back.
Plus,
by the Lord, I mean the taxpayers of New York City and state.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, when you deal with all those gross sick people, you got to fly to the Bahamas every now and then just to get away.
Oh, no kidding!
From the gross sick people,
you got to. There is no better disinfectant than the sun,
right?
Like.
Yeah, a good tan.
Yeah,
proves that you're doing okay.
Disinfects everything.
Oh my gosh,
it's the best.
Well, speaking of pastors, here's an interesting one. We're a little late to this one because we didn't do our normal show last week.
Yeah,
listeners, you may have noticed. I don't know if you caught it, but we didn't do our standard show last week.
No, we hope you're okay with that.
We hope
you came back.
Hope you liked it. But even if you didn't, there you go.
I just hope that people actually went and checked it out on YouTube. I know a lot of people did.
But
I mean, I
like nowhere near as many as our normal.
Everybody does. Yeah,
at some
point.
Go ahead and check it out if you want to. It was a silly little romp we had. Anywho, this story broke a couple weeks ago, but Joshua Harris, best-selling author of the purity culture book I Kissed Dating Goodbye, made news recently. The book itself is all about how even dating itself is just a
French kissed dating goodbye.
How dare you? How dare you, Frank? Absolutely not.
Oh my God.
The only thing I kiss is concepts. That's
you can't open mouth kiss a concept.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. What can you do to a concept? Yeah, I think you can do a lot of dirty stuff to it.
A lot of dirty things.
Anyway, I mean, this was a book that was entirely anti-gay, anti-LGBT. Mind you, it was 22 years ago, so they didn't know about trans people yet, but or bi people.
Bi people were still a myth; they hadn't been fully discovered.
Right. But yeah, I mean, this is so like this was a huge deal thing. He then got married, and he had this huge. He's a pastor, and he was, and he sold millions of copies of this damn thing.
He did well. He did really well for himself.
And then just a couple weeks ago, he decided to announce that he is leaving his wife, or his wife and he are divorcing, and he is he's basically renouncing the book. He's renouncing. He said he's basically not a Christian anymore. Oh. He hasn't said what he is, but that ain't it. And he's well, I mean, his quote was, "By all the measurements that I have for defining a Christian, I am not a Christian." Which, man, you took a lot of extra steps on that one. You could have just said no.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just said that last little bit. Anyway, yeah, he says that he is repentant for his quote, repenting of my self-righteousness, my fear-based approach to life, the teaching of my books, my views of women in the church, and my approach to parenting, to name a few.
What happened to this guy?
He says, to the LGBTQ plus community, I want to say that I am sorry for the views that I taught in my books and as a pastor regarding sexuality. I regret standing against marriage equality, but for not affirming you and your place in the church, and for any ways that my writing and speaking contributed to a culture of exclusion and bigotry, I hope you can forgive me. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And it's unequivocal. He's not hedging anything.
I know.
In that.
It's pretty remarkable.
I mean,
I think it's a very good first step.
Mm-hmm.
I think with all of these things that people hopefully, I think the really sincere and contrite person in his situation would sort of assess, what can I do to pay back and to fix,
right,
like the damage that I did. And there is nothing that's going to undo the damage,
right?
But how do you what is your penance,
right?
And how do you try to make it right,
to make an amends? Yeah,
amends. Yeah.
And in his case, one hates to be overly cynical, but it's probably going to be another book that will make him millions of dollars.
Yeah. But then he should take that money and he should
be donating it.
Yeah.
He should 100%.
That's how you really do it.
Right.
It's not just a book that gets through to a few people.
It's you write a book and you donate the proceeds.
Yeah. Or at least, like a sizable.
Yeah.
amount.
You can have enough to live.
After you take care of yourself first, then you sort of pay, because you have to live.
Right. I mean, you have to keep the first $600,000 for meals and expenses.
You gotta pay for the boat somehow. Right.
There you go.
All right. Well, Dan, I got the story of a congressman. Yeah, I think a lot of our listeners probably have heard a bit of this story, to be honest. It was making the rounds, but I just felt that it was, with the shootings that happened this last weekend, that we should probably acknowledge. And the way that and we're talking specifically about the shootings in El Paso and Dayton.
Yeah.
And there was something about these, and the fact that the back-to-back nature of it, I think that really has shaken the nation, more so than the last few shootings, I would say. I would say that there have been a handful of other shootings that I've heard about, and sadly, it's this white noise in this country.
We're becoming quite inured to the whole thing,
and it's really disturbing that that's what's happening. So there is something that God, I hate to say it like this, but if there can be any good, right? It's that the nation does seem to be really paying attention right now.
Maybe,
to this. And hopefully something can be done about gun control.
And hopefully people start thinking in terms of watching their elected officials and going, oh, that guy's, one guy's doing a thing, one guy's not doing anything, vote him out.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk about somebody who might need to be voted out.
Okay.
Representative Louis Gohmert.
Oh, Louis Gohmert. He's a Texan, ain't he?
Yeah, Republican.
Yeah.
Texas. He went on to, so he's described as a prominent Republican.
He's a pretty big deal, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
He's been around for a while.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he went on to a local news station, KETK. And he and the host were talking about how the mass shootings were being politicized, and Gohmert said that the El Paso shooter should not be prosecuted under federal hate crimes laws because that could lead to pastors being put in prison.
Oh?
This is something that the right likes to do. They like to conflate hate speech, right? Which would be what pastors do.
Yes.
With hate crimes.
Right.
Which are, you go out and you commit an act of violence and it's based in some sort of you specifically are targeting a specific group and that can be proven. Then now you take the whatever you did and you make the punishment more severe. It's a hate crime.
Yeah.
Right? You went and you shot up a bunch of people. Okay, that's horrifying. You went up and shot up a bunch of people because they belong to a certain group.
Right.
In this case, Hispanics.
Right.
Holy shit. That's horrifying.
Right.
And there is not a soul who's going to look at a pastor who's saying stupid things over the pulpit and say that it's the same thing.
Right. Of course not. Of course not. But the thing that my takeaway from this is that he's very much admitting that the gospel is racist and hateful.
Well, no, yeah, for
He's
sure.
very much admitting that. Like the gospel of his church, the one that he cares about, is very much in danger of being conflated with hate crime.
Yeah.
That's what he's admitting.
Yeah.
Okay, Louis.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to admit, I wouldn't cop to that if I were you, but whoo, doggy. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
wow.
That is essentially also what he says. I mean, it's not just that he's admitting or that's the takeaway. Apparently, he says the real reason that he doesn't want the Matthew Shepard Act used against the El Paso shooter is because he believes that pastors who don't like LGBTQ people are pretty much indistinguishable from the El Paso shooter. So from his mouth as well.
Wow, he's a ding dong. Yeah. That is not a smart man. Okay. I'm going to take us up to Milwaukee, where there has been a meeting of the members, the voting members of the ECLA Churchwide Assembly. ECLA being the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, and their Churchwide Assembly, which is their voting body.
Oh yeah.
500 plus of which, almost 600 of them, marched on the ICE. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement building there in Milwaukee, declaring themselves, they've declared their organization, their church, a sanctuary church.
Okay. And
they okay, this is cute. A little bit dumb. Martin Luther, their big guy.
Yeah.
The big important dude in the Lutheran.
The one for which they are named.
Right. He famously nailed his 95 theses to the door of the church. These were complaints he had about the Catholic Church. This was what prompted the schism, the split, the Protestant Revolution. They have now decided they basically took their 9.5 theses. I guess they went 1/10 of the theses. They brought those with them to express those at the ICE.
Well, they cannot outdo.
No.
Their hero.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't even try to come close.
They wouldn't have that kind of hubris. So they shaved it down.
95 is excessive.
95 is a lot.
It's a lot.
I want to know how you do half a thesis. I want to know how you do 9.5. I want to know who wrote.
It's 9 and a bit of conjecture.
It's 9 theses and a question. Anyway, yeah, they have voted. They're voting on several measures, all of which are designed to all of which are targeting the treatment of our government of immigrants.
Yeah.
And saying and declaring that, Christianity had this one guy, this Jesus fella. I don't know if you've heard of him. But he had a few things to say about, welcoming the stranger and caring for the needy and that sort of thing. He kind of was big into it. So they're basically going with that. Whereas
that's what they're trying to do.
There you go.
I mean, come on.
I mean, honestly, talk to Louis Gohmert. He'll tell you all about how that's not what Jesus was about. Jesus was about truck nuts and being awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got mine. Go get yours.
All right, Dan.
Yes.
Here's a story of a federal lawsuit.
Okay. You're giggling already.
That is going to ruffle some feathers here locally.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure. The lawsuit seeks punitive damages on 7 counts, including RICO, RICO's the racketeering.
Yeah, it's like the corrupt organizations law.
It's used against like organized crime and whatnot, fraud, breach of fiduciary duties, and emotional distress, etc. That is being filed against the Mormon Church.
Yeah.
By a former member who is trying to get back tithing plus.
She's
apparently.
doing what we all really want to do, which is say, all that money we gave you when we thought that you were telling us the truth?
Yeah.
Can we get that back, please?
Now that we know that you were lying to us the whole time?
Yeah.
And that's what it all hinges on, is whether she can demonstrate in court that they knew that they were lying. Now, of course, it's this is an uphill battle, to say the least. There's freedom of religion, etc.
She is never going to be able to win this thing.
The things that she's pulling in. Okay, so she says that the, quote, Mormon corporate empire has driven worshipers to existential crises, suicide, anxiety, and depression by peddling a scheme of lies centered on the church's or on the religion's creation and its scriptures. It's apparently just a scathing 75-page class action against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
right?
The Mormons.
Yeah.
And the complaint states the material facts upon which Mormonism is based have been manipulated through intentional concealment, misrepresentation, distortion, and or obfuscation by the LDS to contrive an inducement to faith in Mormonism's core beliefs.
Yeah, so she's saying the Mormon Church knew that they were lying, knew that they were putting out a false story about the origin of the church with Joseph Smith and all that sort of thing. And they did it anyway, and they perpetuated that narrative to get people to join their church.
Yeah.
All of which is true.
Demonstrably true.
True.
Absolutely
she will
true.
never win this case. There's no chance. There's exactly 0% chance that she has a chance at winning this case.
I love it, though.
I do, too. I think, here's the thing. I don't think that's what she's up to. I don't think she's trying to win the case. I think she's trying to get the church on the record saying that they knew that they were she's just going to try and trap the church into saying stuff that they don't want to say, even if it's just acknowledging more of their history than they want to acknowledge out loud in front of everybody.
Well, it would definitely do that. It would definitely, because this is going to get some coverage locally.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be on the TV station.
It has done so.
And in the Tribune, so forth and so on. Right. This is going to get a lot of people talking. Right?
Well, and she's going to file for access to their records up in the mountain, because literally...
It all depends. Like, at what point, when can a judge just throw the whole thing out? At the very beginning of the whole process, right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you're right. It's an effort to get to those things.
Yeah.
But I I mean, I don't know enough about sort of the legal ins and outs of such things, but it just seems like, come on, freedom of religion.
Yeah.
Like, this whole thing is going to hinge on that.
Look, we
The
know
church will
how
deftly make sure that it hinges on freedom of religion.
Listen, this is a multi-billion-dollar organization. They have a whole building full of their own lawyers in this town. They're impenetrable. They're impermeable. They're going to be fine. It's just a matter of like, how much can we get them? How much can she get her message out before the church just slams her into oblivion, which is going to happen. There's going to be a smear campaign against her. There's going to be a lot of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. It'll be fun to watch in the meantime. I will take us finally to North Carolina, Sanford, North Carolina, where a sheriff's deputy is suing. He was fired.
Oh no!
From his job as a deputy.
Why? Why?
For religious reason, he was fired because of discrimination against his religion.
Oh, that's terrible.
All he was trying to do
never happen, Dan. Not in this country.
Never.
Never shouldn't happen anywhere. But I mean, come on. Listen
to how blameless he is. He was trying to follow the Mike Pence rule. He's a married man. He's a deacon of his church, and he said that he believes that the Bible prohibits him from being alone with a woman for an extended period of time that isn't his wife. So when they asked him to do his fucking job and train a female recruit, he said no.
Oh my God.
He was like, no, she's a girl. Which, as Hemant Mehta on the Friendly Atheist pointed out, basically making it very clear that so many of these rules that these guys impose on themselves are not about them. It's about oppressing the women. It's about keeping the women in their place. They say it's about like, well, I'm avoiding temptation. Dude, then avoid temptation. But you can do that while you're in the room with another woman. You don't have to screw people.
Also, just because you're tempted doesn't mean that you have to follow through with it. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
just be a grown-up. How about?
And also, you're probably gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't want to have anything to do with you.
100%.
So let's see. Yeah, because like, how does if everybody followed this stupid rule? Because I mean, I suppose somebody in his position would say, well, I'm fine. I'm not against women being on the force. Another woman could train her.
Right. Or something like that.
Something along those lines. But how does that first woman get trained?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
How does, how are women supposed to progress in these fields? Right.
And if you're one of the good trainers,
gain access,
you got to train all the people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, exactly.
He just doesn't like women on the force, I bet.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. He just doesn't want women to be these uppity women thinking that they can just tell a man what to do.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they'll be his superior officer. And then what?
Jesus, yeah. Holy crap.
Don't train him. And then you're fine.
Then you only ever have to work for men.
That's right. Thank God.
That's what real men do.
Well,
men work for men.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you want to tell us about the men that you work for, please write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. Click on the like button. Join that group.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yes.
RickWiles.
Oh, Ricky.
And
little Ricky Wiles.
He's such
He's a rapscallion, that one.
Oh my God, he really bugs me.
Yeah, no,
because he's an exceptionally fine douchebag.
He's
right.
He's a dickhead of the highest order.
Yeah, like he's something special, right? But he proves himself in this clip to be something that I didn't know him to be. I hadn't fully equated him with, and I don't know why I hadn't, but I had not fully equated him with sort of the old-timey television evangelists, right? The ones who just begged for money. Because the clips that we watch of him, that's not what he's not just talking about building,
saying crazy shit.
What the Lord wants him to do with your money type shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so here he admits that he maybe hasn't been asking for enough money.
Well, and also
that maybe the what, in order to fulfill all of the goals that the Lord has made for him, he needs some sizable cash.
Is that what he's saying? Ladies and gentlemen, I challenge you to track the logic of this. Let's all listen in and see if we can figure out what the fuck he's talking about.
But somehow God will make provision for us. I don't know how he's going to do it. He's going to make provision for us. I've upped my request doc. I've been praying, asking God for $10 million. I'm now telling I need $100 million. The vision he's put in my heart, I need $100 million. It is a global vision to build a platform for the body of Christ to get us through to the end until Christ comes back. It's going to take an enormous amount of money. I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know who's going to finance it. But I know that God has unlimited resources.
Amen.
And he is my source, and my faith is in him.
If the Lord has unlimited resources, but why not just,
Then the Lord should give you $100 million.
Why not? There are ATM machines everywhere.
Yeah.
Why not get the Lord to just open a few of them up for you?
Or just
add a couple zeros to your bank account balance.
Look,
it is well within the Lord's ability.
Take all of the furniture out of one of the rooms in your house and just pray for the Lord to put $100 million in there.
Oh, I don't know.
He can do it. He has unlimited resources, Frank.
I just didn't realize that Jesus is just a giant piggy bank.
Oh my gosh.
I think I've been doing this whole thing.
You did too realize it. That's basically all we've seen from everyone that's started a religion ever has seen Jesus as a giant piggy bank. That's what he is. That's the whole point.
Oh, it's the best con ever. He says he's praying to God for this money, but he doesn't ask. But God's not the one who's going to give it to him.
Isn't that amazing?
It's literally going to be his listeners who are like, he's asking the Lord. Let's help him out.
Right, exactly.
He's asked the Lord for money. Let's give him money. What?
You know what it is? It's the Mexico will pay for the wall switcho changeo. Now you see it, now you don't.
Yeah.
They're going to pay. God's going to pay. Jesus will pay. You're going to pay.
Yeah.
It's you. I tricked you.
Yeah.
Now send me your money.
Oh,
you big dumb dopes.
RickWiles.
He's quite a cat.
He's a loathable human being.
Quite a character he is.
Loathsome. That's probably the more correct.
Yeah, definitely.
Loathable.
Both. He's both. I would say loathable and loathsome. Loathworthy. How about that?
Loathworthy.
Anyway, hey, you know who's not loathworthy is our listeners.
Oh, I love our listeners.
Grand people.
Yeah.
To the man. That's not true. One of you's a dick. I can tell. But the rest of you are amazing. And I'm going to read a few things from some of them. We had some people write into us. Hey, you guys. I've been listening. Oh, this is from Kara. I've been listening to y'all for I don't know how long. And I'm finally getting around to telling you my funny Jim Baker experience. Yay.
I love Jim Baker.
We definitely feature Jim.
I shouldn't love him. I wouldn't really like him.
Oh, like as a human?
No,
he's a terrible person.
Again, if somehow he was in like your circle of friends.
Right. Oh, yeah.
No, he's the one. He comes walking into the party, and you're like, God.
Oh, that guy.
He showed up again.
Well, hold that thought.
Who keeps inviting him?
Hold that thought. I will go on with what Kara had to say. He's my cousin of some sort.
No!
My mother's maternal uncle's son. I was raised deep in that Assembly of God Pentecostal, she puts in parentheses, pent-up hostel,
nice.
PTL Club lifestyle. I don't know what PTL Club is.
Praise the Lord.
Oh, okay, there you go. And every summer, I attended the Baker family reunion. Well, one summer in the early 80s when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, the big deal was Jim himself was going to be there.
Oh, no.
The family was all beside themselves about it. He showed up in a huge RV at the park, but he never exited the RV to join the reunion.
People could go see him?
Jim Baker's staff would escort people to the RV to be granted audience for a minute.
No.
My dad was having none of it, and I remember him telling me, no way in hell are he and I going to be audience with a guy who shows up in a vehicle that cost more than my dad earned in a year of honest labor and can't even be bothered to step outside and join his family.
Yeah, no kidding.
He got me imagining Jim being some kind of wicked gangster lurking around in my family's background, never to be witnessed with mine own eyes.
That's some shitty shit.
So Kara says it's really fun to hear you guys talk about what he's up to nowadays, since he remains as monstrous and weird as he loomed in my childhood.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
What a douche.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
So if he showed up to your dinner party, he would just be hiding in one of the rooms somewhere.
I just want to know, like, is in his mind,
is he so
is
special?
He Don Corleone? Like, who does he think he is?
I think that there's probably one part paranoia, concern for like, there's probably one part in crazy ego,
like,
right?
Yeah. I would say delusions of grandeur, but the dude was pretty fucking famous. So, yeah. I mean, back then he was really famous.
Yeah.
Now he's like this fringe guy who's still a little famous, but he's this nutball who's selling buckets of food. Like, that's his big thing, is food buckets.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're buying your food by the bucket, something might be wrong in your life.
Oh, if you can hear thunder.
Ooh, we just got rumbled. I said it was stormy.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I can hear rain. I don't know if it's coming through the mic. But anyway.
Oh,
Jim Baker.
Thank you, Kara. That was amazing. Gotta love those. D also wrote into us, hello. I recently started listening and I couldn't help but laugh at the story from Coffee County, Tennessee about the DA who would not enforce divorce law when it comes to homosexual couples. For a bit of background, I went to a fairly well-known Mormon-run and operated public charter, which has been in the papers several times for teaching faith-based history in the classroom. They have prominent members of the church write textbooks which always paint minorities in unsavory light and brags about the importance of religion in one's life. The school also teaches that we as a country must go back to the ways of our founding fathers in order to become a virtuous country once again. Anyway, I've heard it all discussed seriously by my history teacher, the idea that in order to be a virtuous country, elected officials must follow the word of the Christian God, believer or not. We have the same argument in class about divorce and its relation to marriage, and the fact that homosexual couples are not ever truly married. The number of times I had to hear him say the Constitution protects only God-given rights in the 3 years I had him as a teacher were torture, and the main reason I ditched class most days. Anyway, long story, but had to share. I thought I was done with that place, but evidently a few words can transport me back. Love the show. Thank you. Well, thanks, D.
Yeah.
And finally, a little bit of feedback from our last very weird episode. Hello, Frank and Dan. Congratulations on your 400th episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the content you've produced thus far, and here's hoping you'll keep going for a while, too. Have a great summer. All the best from a Finnish fan, Taru. So thank you, Taru.
Oh, nice.
We appreciate.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was just a little nice note. I thought I'd read it out.
Oh, fantastic.
Hope you guys liked last week. It was weird and different, and I hope that yeah. There you go.
But you know, you got to do something different every once in a while.
Well, like 400 episodes.
Fresh.
400 episodes. My goodness.
I mean, Anyway.
This is the longest I've ever had a job. This is the longest I've ever held a job in my life.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah.
So there you go. How about that? Speaking of this this podcast of ours, this job of ours, do we have some folks to thank?
We do have some people to thank, Dan. It looks like what? How many is this? 8 people.
Nice.
Isn't
Excellent.
that amazing?
Yes, indeed.
We have 3 new faithful listeners.
Okay.
Katie, Mark, and Go Vegan.
Excellent. Okay.
There was more to that, but the first name was definitely Go Vegan.
Okay.
And 2 new venerable listeners.
Great.
Jean and Madeline.
Wonderful.
Wonderful indeed. 2 new beatified listeners, Renee and Anthony.
Wow.
And we have a new saint.
What?
Saint Melissa.
Oh, peace and blessings upon all of you. Most specific, I mean, obviously, sainthood is a big deal. And
it's a big deal.
Melissa, you're
nothing
amazing.
to be taken lightly.
No.
The canonization process, you know,
it is in depth.
Arduous.
It is a grueling process in which you just sign up for more money.
Yeah.
So
indeed, and of course, Dan, we have to thank
there's one more.
Our top donor.
Yeah.
Our Lord and Savior, Hannah.
Long may she reign forever in our hearts.
Frontwards
She lives
and backwards,
forward and onward. We appreciate all of our donors so much. If you would like to become one of the donors and help us get to our goal, we're so close to our next goal.
We're getting there.
We're like 10 people away from 300
something like that.
donors.
Yeah.
Jump onto it. Go to thankgodimatheist.com. Click the banner on the right-hand side of the page. It'll get you there. It's super easy to do. Or just look us up on Patreon. However you want to do it, and then become one of our donors. We super appreciate it.
Okay, Dan.
Yes, sir.
As we have mentioned already on the show.
Oh, well, if we mentioned it already, why are we bringing it up
We're going to
again?
continue the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Dan.
Fine.
We have a gun problem in this country.
No.
Yes, we do. Dan.
Decidedly not. I have multiple people telling me constantly that the only problem with guns in this country is that there aren't enough of them and not enough people armed with them.
I know. That's what people say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
But here's the thing.
I pack heat.
Yeah. You own a gun.
I own a gun. It is true. I do own a gun. I own an antique.
You own a very, very old, like, not quite a blunderbuss, but it's like an old...
No, it's an old shotgun.
And if you ever tried to fire it, it would blow up in your face or something.
No. I've actually looked into it. You can still shoot these things.
Wow.
You can take them in and have somebody look at them. It was like a very common brand back in the day. It's
quite pretty.
It's a nice looking gun. You should see pictures of the ones that are in a lot better condition. The gun that I have was my great grandfather's, and he used it.
Yeah.
He was a duck hunter.
Yeah.
And the man hunted. That is just what he did. He owned a bar and he duck hunted.
And he hunted duck.
He must have been quite the character.
Yes, indeed. That does sound like a character. So anyway, all I'm getting at is you're a gun owner.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly you're on the pro-gun side of things.
I do want to protect my right to own
an antique gun.
I'm
also a gun owner. I inherited them from my pop.
Yeah.
I would gladly give them all up. I have fun. I take them out shooting.
Yeah.
But if our country instituted a ban, I would be I would be more than happy to get them.
Ours are not the kinds of guns that cause the kinds of problems, though. That even if mine were a functional gun, a double barrel shotgun
is not.
It's
that you have to that doesn't have any that has literally a capacity of 2.
Yeah. Like, yes, it can do some damage.
Sure.
There's no denying that, but that is not what we're talking about.
But also what we're not talking about is the gun question, because a lot of the dialogue that's coming from the pro-gun segment of society has pivoted from talking. They won't talk about guns now at all.
Right.
What they're talking about, for instance, I've seen a story with NRA board member Ken Blackwell.
Oh yeah.
Saying that the mass shootings are a problem with hearts without God.
It's us?
It's the one.
Is he pointing fingers at us?
At those? I don't know about us. Just
not specifically you and me, but I mean
whose hearts are without God. Fox,
because that's me.
Fox
there
and
is
Friends.
No God in my heart.
Yeah,
Jesus long since evaporated.
Fox and Friends host talking about the tragedies occurring because the shooter didn't fear the Lord. Mike Huckabee, prayer is the only thing that will stop mass shootings. It's not a gun problem.
It's a prayer problem.
It's a God problem.
It's a lack of prayer problem.
It's a Jesus problem.
Well, here's the deal. I know that these people are out there and they're praying hard. How hard do they have to pray? Does it literally have to be all of us? Is that the only way that it works?
Can't it just be
I don't believe that either.
Can't God respond to the sincere prayer of like a person? Isn't a single prayer enough?
No. We do know this because Mormons love this one. They love like the mass prayer.
Yeah.
Like they've got the prayer.
Oh, they all love this.
The prayer log thing in the temple. Right.
Yeah.
You put your name on the temple roll thing,
and then they pray for you.
They put it into like it's basically just like those bags that you have at the bank, the cash bags, the little zipper bags.
Yeah, sure.
They just put a bunch in there, right? And instead of taking it to the bank, they take it to the temple ceremonies.
Yeah,
and they pray for the people. Nobody even knows what's happening in the goddamn bag.
No.
What are the names in the bag? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But
the Lord knows.
Yeah.
I mean, there are websites devoted to prayer. There are websites devoted to, like, my Uncle Jimmy cut off his leg mowing the lawn. Please pray for him and his recovery.
I will pray for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I will. That sounds like a noble cause. I will pray. How the fuck do these people think anything works?
Right? Because intercessionary prayer, just like the whole concept of it is insane.
When has it ever worked?
But beyond that, God, almighty, all-knowing, all-powerful God,
right,
who has a plan for the universe.
Right.
And
for everything in your fucking life.
And you're going to go to him and be like, hey, don't know what your plan was, but if your plan was not for Aunt Susie to survive this cancer, could you change your plan?
Yeah.
That's what you're asking.
Right.
You're asking the Lord to change his plan.
But in their reasoning, right, the Lord just sits there and is like, meh.
Right.
Right. I'm not changing my plan for you. You're just one person.
Right.
Oh, wait. Oh, there's a few people asking, well, it won't be that hard. You know? Well, oh no, this is a really tough one.
Holy shit.
I'm going to wait till... Wow.
There's a whole 1,000 people praying on... I definitely pay more attention.
You know what I'm going to do? There's that kid over there with a gun.
Right.
I'm going to stop that.
You know what?
I'm going to stop that kid from shooting up. What? I mean, it's insanity.
Well, the other thing that they're clearly...
is he going to change his heart? Is he going to make the gun jam? Is he going to... Like, what is he going to do? He's never done it.
Here's the other thing. If the problem is a we don't have the Lord in our hearts in this society problem. If that is the problem, then by extension, other countries that are more atheistic than our country should have proportionally more mass shootings than we have. That's
Dan,
just logic.
Dan.
What?
We're one of the it's us and Israel, the two elect nations.
That's right. Well, okay.
And so because of that, we have a higher responsibility. I don't think people really understand how this all works, Dan.
I hadn't been thinking in terms of elect nations.
Yes,
it's true.
We're special. We're a chosen nation.
Yeah.
We're the promised land.
Yeah. Well,
we have the Lord's. What did he say in that clip?
I don't know.
It was something awful. But anyway, no, that is immediately where their minds go.
Maybe
with that argument. No, I promise you.
I know. I just think they what they don't want is to have to do any logical reasoning at all. So I don't think they get that far.
Well, and the ones that are making up all these arguments, because all it would take is a couple of these leaders on the right to be like, yeah, let's get rid of all the fucking guns. And half their followers would just be like, yep, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right?
More than half.
Easy.
So many,
easy.
The country's sick of it. The country is ready for some, at least controls.
Right. But the leaders are bought and paid for by the NRA.
Yeah.
And that is so fucking clear. 80%, I think I saw this statistic. I think it was 80% of the nation favors really strengthening background checks.
Yeah.
And there was something else, and just better gun control.
Getting rid of bump stocks, getting rid of all the sales loopholes.
Right.
When you can't buy it online, you can't buy it from the gun show, you can't buy it from another person.
You list out all this stuff, I can't back up the 80% claim anymore.
Right.
But it is a majority of the country.
Yeah.
Right.
So all you listeners in other countries, just know most of us want this to change.
Yeah. And it's the dipshits in Congress who won't do a good goddamn thing about it.
Right.
Because the amount of money that comes to them from the NRA. It's insane.
And it is interesting. Like, the talking points are just sent out to them from the NRA, from Plus. But it is interesting that they're not talking about guns. They refuse to say the words guns right now. They are only talking about prayer, about Jesus, about whatever. That's their pivot. So watch for it out there. If your loved ones try to pull the little Jesus shimmy shake on you, if you're having a conversation, no. This is about guns. This is about what we need to do to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
And if Jesus is gonna fall asleep at the fucking wheel and not protect us, I guess we'll have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And also, here's the other thing about their logic. Okay. So let's just assume that you're right, and that the problem that is causing all of this gun violence is that there's not enough Jesus in our hearts. Well, guess what? We just have to accept we're in a country that's less and less Jesus-y, and that is the continuing trend. So we're not going to be able to change that part.
Right.
Might as well fix what we can.
So this is an interesting point. This should be the argument.
Right.
Is hey, listen, like, I know you want us all praying more,
right?
And that's going to fix the problem. We're not going to.
We're not doing that.
We're not. But here's what we are willing to do.
So basically, you guys need to protect yourselves against all of us crazy heathen atheists out here.
You should probably get rid of all the guns.
You should probably not let us all have guns.
Which, by the way,
that includes you. But let's just clamp down on the guns a little bit until we get the prayer. Once we get the prayer thing in order, then we can release the guns back into the wild. But until that time, let's just reel it on back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
dangerous world.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure some of you want to yell at us about our gun control position. That's fine. You can write into us, or if you want to say we didn't go far enough. Either way, write into us. Podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. It was nothing but spam calls this week, Dan.
Oh my God. China.
It was Chinese.
China is calling us. We do not speak your language.
Thanks for the call, though.
Thanks for the call. Next week we'll play one of them. Anyway, yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And also, while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in.
Yes.
Find us on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
I've been tweeting a little lately.
Have you?
Yeah, it's at TGIA Atheist.
How fancy.
I do it from time to time.
Yeah. There you go.
I can't promise a lot, but
we're there. We're there. Hey, thanks so much. Speaking of our social media, to Mackenzie, congratulations on opening your new thing. But so much. She's the person who does our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Thanks to Amy and Danny for their work on the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club and also Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
Yes, indeed. And thank all of you for tuning in. We love you.
Bye-bye.